Oh shit. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. That's a little hot. Test 1, 2. Well, I think sound works. If you heard me say, oh shit, it works, but there's two of me. Beep boop boop. Bleep bloop blarp. Is that better? Oh, it's hot though, isn't it? Balls. I think there's one of me now. Is that true? There you go, laddie. All right, good. Let me start the dumb Instagram where I literally pointed at my screen. So 1 second. It's a full house tonight. Hello, everybody. Checking connection on Instagram. I have a 2-angle cat cam today. Okay, I think we're good with with Sneaky Sasquatch. Okay, hello. Good to see you in the chat areas. Let me throw open. Boy, it's a lot of windows to manage and a lot of like cat camera angles and stuff to manage. I've even got the 6K over here as well. Too many things. All right, but back to this. All right, hey everybody. I took some notes from last time. But officially, let me say, hey, welcome to Monday Night Creator Chat, the live stream. And if you're seeing this later, or listening to this later, then welcome to Do the Thing. This is, I think, the third time that we have done this particular thing, which is our chat about creativity and what to do when you're stuck, and questions and advice, and me learning stuff from you about how you make stuff. I'm going to have a sip of coffee and just hope that when I look at chat, people aren't saying, oh, your microphones are dead. So let me see. There we go. Hey. Yes, I am using OBS. I looked at, so I'm using OBS to stream. I'm a big fan of Tom Buck's work, though, and he uses, what the hell is it called? He doesn't use OBS. He uses the other one that you pay for. I forget what it's called. Anyway, he's fantastic. Oh, yeah, I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I haven't even beaten Breath of the Wild, so no spoilies for Jeffrey, please and thank you. All right, let me pop in onto Instagram. Let me pop onto Facebook to see what's going on over there. Hey, Instagram. If you are here on Instagram, I would recommend going to the link that you see right here, because the big show's on YouTube, and I'm literally pointing my camera at my screen on Instagram because that's all I can do right now on Instagram because I don't have access to their broadcaster stuff. I've applied. We'll see what happens. Okay. let me go to my page, see if there's anyone here also from Facebook as well. So if you're on Instagram, I highly recommend hopping over to YouTube because that's where the action is. All right, pulling up some feedback from y'all and some announcements and some questions, and then we will get going. Boy, Facebook is a mess. Okay. All right, fantastic. Yeah, Facebook. Look at these lightning streaks I have in my hair. Look at this. You want to talk about old man. Okay, so catching up. So what's going on creatively on our side of the house? We've got some cool gigs that are happening for the studio. There's a lot of stuff I can't really talk about, but we booked some stuff today, so that's pretty cool. I've got like 3 auditions tonight to do after this, which will be fun. I've got a voiceover audition, and I've got TV audition and a commercial audition, and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? If you watched Will Trent, you may have seen just my arm on the season finale giving Will Trent a box of takeout. That's also the same show where I smashed my iPad screen to pieces. So, yeah, it went really well. So that happened. Also, I'm working on proofing. My hardback came in for the book that I'm kind of redoing, and I've been proofing that and checking that out. So it's kind of fun to have a hardback of that. I also have a paperback, but I'm just sort of checking to see if, if the print quality is any good and that kind of stuff. I'm just going through CreateSpace. It's super easy. Although maybe I'll get an ISBN and send it out to other places, but we'll see. So that's kind of what's going on there. Oh, biggest thing too is finishing edits on Nerd Time Chronicles, which is our new D&D show. It's a podcast. It's primarily an audio podcast, but we have a bunch of animated stuff that is in the Super Nintendo sprite style that we'll be using to make clips and shorts and stuff like that, using the characters. So that'll be super, super fun. So that's kind of what's going on the creative side of the house. I want to jump right into some I don't know if it's a question, but some feedback, continuing our feedback from the very first time about creativity and like what to do if you're stuck and maybe things that are holding you back. Oh, wait, sorry. One last thing before we get to that. Sorry, ADD much. Next week, if we work it all out, when I think we will, I think it'll be a lot of fun. On next week's stream, we will have a guest. It'll be Doug. And Doug was who I talked about in the last stream, who shared music with me. And Doug's gonna. I think Doug intends to. I don't know, play some music or share something that they're working on, and to sort of talk about the process of creativity as a musician. And I know there's some other musicians in the room tonight, so if you want to do the same thing, let me know. That'd be super fun. Because I think the people in here that I know who make music make very different kinds of music, so that's kind of cool. So that'll be next week, because we got to work out technically how to do that. Not that it's super hard, but I couldn't even handle getting the regular live stream up tonight, so here we are. Okay, now jumping into the feedback from before. What's holding you back? That kind of stuff. This is from someone. Again, I'm not going to name names because unless that's the thing you just want me to do. They talk about a few things. They say, first they say, I'm probably going to answer this question more than once, which they did. And they said a few things that I can think of at the moment that are like holding them back from doing things are, first, not knowing what I should be doing or working on to improve my craft until I get to where I want to be. So, unpacking that just a little bit, I think they mean like, what do I need to work on? What are even the fundamental either tools that I need or first steps I can take, to even begin the journey to get to do the thing that is my artistic like passion, right? Sometimes you don't know where to start, right? And it can be that there are too many options, right? Or it can be that you feel like you're not equipped enough or that you don't know enough, right? You can get in this like paralysis of like research combined with seeing how other people are so far ahead of you, and like how that can put you in a really weird headspace. So if you have any thoughts about how to even get started on whatever your thing is, I think this person's thing is voiceover. They want to get into voiceover, and they're grasping at kind of where to start. It doesn't have to be voiceover specifically, but if there is something that you know of that you want to share that is like, here's how I get started, or, for my musicians, how do you go from having music in your head to putting it somewhere to then sharing it, that kind of stuff. How do you even know where to start or what to work on to get better, right? Sometimes all we can see are like our deficiencies. Here's all the stuff that I don't have. Here's where I am not, Yeah, so I hope that gets your wheels turning while I go through a couple of the other ones. Yeah, ADD is an outdated term. Sorry, I'm an outdated person. That is true. Yeah. I don't know which kind I am. So let's see. All right. Also, continuing the same thread, this person has concerns about their age. In this case, they're worried that they're too old to do this thing that they want to do. And that's tricky. That's tough. It's like, in what capacity, right? When age is tricky, are there things that I feel like I might be too old to do? Probably. But there were also things that I remember I felt like I was too young to do. And a lot of that was in my head. And what is even considered old is changing. But I don't think the question is about caring about your age. I think the question might be about caring about either the perception of your age or the energy levels or the mental flexibility to adapt to some of the newer stuff that's coming down, especially if you're time constrained and you feel like, you've spent your whole life kind of learning stuff. And then to do the thing you want to do, there's stuff you used to know that would work, but now it's all different and new. Do you think, what do we think about how age plays a factor in the thing that we're trying to do? For me, it might be a matter of like, I think of age as like, how much time do I have left? Which is a little morose, but I do. And that sort of makes me work backwards from, well, what do I think I could get done? What could I achieve? Or not even like in a super goal oriented way, but just like what would make me happy? What would make me feel like I've at least tried this, you know? From my point of view, and I know this person specifically, like I actually have a voiceover gig that I'm working on for this person. I just got to find time to, bring him in and do stuff. So from my point of view, as a producer who has a project for this person, like I don't think that they're too old at all, but I do understand that that might be different than how we feel about the rest of the world. So put that in your head. Oh, good. The chat is working. Fantastic. Yeah, jean shorts do no age. Thank you. Thank you, chat. So already coming in hot in the chat here, some responses about age. About talking about maybe starting. Okay, so here's a good one from the chat. I think just starting something you find you're passionate about, no matter what age you're at, is all you can do. There is never a perfect time to start something. Just go ahead and do it. Yeah, I get that. It might also depend though on what you ultimately want out of it. And I think maybe that's super important, is to figure out what do I want out of this thing at the end of the day, And if it's just to try it, then I think that totally works. If it's I want to get booked on a major cartoon, that might be trickier. I will say this though. I think there's an idea that floats around that there's nothing super inspiring for us or motivating for us about like really small goals, right? Sometimes to get the thing that seems attainable, if we set our goal at just the thing that's attainable, that might not be strong enough or inspiring enough for us to actually go and do it. The stuff that I've been fortunate enough to get to do, is under where I've set like my goals and what I want to do. But the goal being pretty far out there is something of a North Star and sort of an inspiration to kind of keep going. And it does, at least for me, put a little bit of fire. So if it were me and I were older, I would set my goals really high, because it's like I'm focused. I don't have as much time as I did when I was younger, or as much energy, but this is a thing I want. So like that's sort of the path for me to getting kind of wackily obsessed enough with something to like really, really go for it. I don't know if that helps or is practical, but I think set your goal higher than what you think you could do. You should be a little scared of the goal. I don't know. That's me. I thought I was too old and then I did the thing anyway. Happy I did. I like that. Yeah. I agree. Oh, I see. We've got some people who've learning guitar in the chat. Yes. Okay, this is good. I really like this one. Continuing this discussion about age. On age, I find myself wanting to do the thing until I'm stable enough. Keeping myself alive and surviving is so much work, I feel too drained or burned out sometimes to be able to do the thing. Being young and working hard enough to keep myself afloat feels like an impossible task, let alone creating. Oh, amen. Oh, I get that. Oh, I get that. You know, when I did my first 2 TV shows, I was probably overdrawn in my bank account. And like, I couldn't afford to pay rent anywhere. So I was living at a friend's house. I couldn't afford to drive to Atlanta. I was living in Columbus. I had some help, which kind of brings me to another thing that is in the same person's, our original commenter about who asked the question about age and who asked the question about not knowing where to start or what to do. They say, I have trouble asking for help, right? Related to that, we talked about the technology thing, sorry. So they said, I also have trouble asking for help. Boy, if I didn't ask for help, I'd be sunk. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's American culture. You know that there's no such thing as a self-made person, right? There is just no such thing. Anyone who is anywhere that you want to be had help. Sometimes maybe they were born into a more advantageous position, like financially or whatever, because especially in our business, it's expensive. Maybe they were at the right place at the right time, got a lucky break. Maybe their brain is just wired in such a way that like they can't not pursue it, even if it is perhaps less healthy for the rest of their life. So then maybe they have a lot of the things that we might think of as success, but their rest of their lives might be something of a train wreck. Everyone has all kinds of different reasons why they do or don't make it to a certain spot, but I guarantee you they all have help. Somebody helped somebody. And so I think, if you need to ask somebody for, I don't know, not to be crass, but if you need to ask somebody for like some money, if you need to ask somebody for like a place to stay, for a introduction, it's the hand up and the hand out that we talked about last week, right? You can't just take, right? You can't do that. You're a sociopath if you just take, right? I'm not being medical here. I'm just meaning like it's not great. It's not great relationship wise to just try to take from people. But you also can't just infinitely give, especially if there's nothing left in your cup and your resources, right? But if you are trying to help people, especially, you have to remember that it's okay for you to ask for help as well. If I didn't do it, I'd be sunk. I mean, yeah, I would be absolutely sunk. So, I don't know, my 2 cents. Our original commenter is good night, Jim. Our original commenter is in the chat, in the YouTube chat. So hello, Instagram. If you are on Instagram, I would go to the YouTube link. That's where the big show is. I am just pointing my phone at my screen. Our original commenter is in the chat, and he says that he's 62, which is actually a lot younger than I was expecting. I think you're fine. I think you should just go for it. I would be specific about the roles that I try to go for and specific about the things that I try and do, but I think you have plenty of time to make a worthwhile career. So, especially 62, especially, are you kidding? Forget it. You should go for it. From the YouTube chat, every failure of mine has led to a significant breakthrough for me about who I am and what makes me happy in my work, and my success always stems from things that make me feel happy and hold my interest. Okay, I like that. I will say, I don't know if you experienced this. I don't know if my work always makes me happy, but I am happier than if I weren't doing it. Does that make sense? So that's just my 2 cents. Let me pop over to the other side just yet. Yep, there we go. Okay. Catching up just to see if there's anything I missed. No, I think I'm all caught up. Fantastic. Yeah, so if there's I think if there's anything to take away from tonight, I do feel like asking for help is very important. I agree. I agree overall with the idea that whatever your age is, if it's important to you, you should try it. You should see how far you can get with it, and you should try. But you should really try. Like you should go hard. You know, like if you know, you should really assess yourself. And like if you know, like here are the things that I do that stop me from doing the thing that in my heart I really, really want to do. You have to start the work to get those obstacles out of your way. And that work is individual to every person. There's no way for me to know what it is. You know what it is. But you have to, it's hard. You have to be really honest with yourself without also letting that hit a self-defeat spiral. Oh, well, I have difficulty with this and this and this, and therefore I'm never going to be able to do the thing that I'm trying to do. It's hard. Like you can find ways to like know what your bad habits are without, you know, falling into the trap of just thinking that why even bother? You know, maybe celebrating the things that you know you're doing well, learning the things that you're doing well, assess those too. Like what are my habits that stop me, and what are my habits that propel me, that get me moving, get me closer to where I want to be. No matter how small any of those victories are, I think you've really got to take them. If someone says you're good at something, it is okay to believe it. It really is. You know, no one's you don't you don't have to you don't have to like share that with anybody if that makes you uncomfortable. But if someone says that you're good at something, then it's okay to believe that, and to use that to give you a little bit of courage to stand on to try whatever that next step is. Yeah, just catching up real quick on Le Chat. Hey, Instagram. Once again, I'm going to, forgive me, YouTube. I'm going to make my announcement that if you are here on Instagram, I would go to this link, go to my YouTube channel. Just look for me on YouTube. It's at Jeff H. Because the big show's on YouTube. The Instagram stream is me pointing my phone at the screen. So if you're into that sort of thing, good for you. One day it will be better, and I'll post clips and stuff like that and some animated stuff. So, gosh, I'm trying to think if maybe if it's like story time or something, if I have anything that is helpful. I don't pretend to be helpful. I can just like share stuff that has happened, and if any of those experiences happen to be useful, you can take them and run with them. And if they're not, then they're not. Okay, here's a story about help. I was in a play, and I was an adult. I was a young adult, but I was an adult. And I come from I come from like no money. And everything, all of the tech and all the stuff that I learned on as a kid was like pawn shop stuff or secondhand stuff or discount stuff or whatever. And my dad worked hard so that we could even have any of that. And none of it was necessarily new, but whatever. So I was an adult. I knew I could kind of get around on computers okay. I knew I could kind of, get around Photoshop okay. And design stuff and edit stuff. I could do some video stuff okay. And I thought that maybe if I could get, I think it was like a MacBook. It's one of these white MacBooks over here, actually. Yeah, it's not this one, but it was this one. The original one that I'm about to talk about, this is all that's left of it. This is this is the motherboard. Anyway, by the way, all this junk, people just give me this junk. But I wanted one of these because I thought I could make money with it. And I thought if I make money with this, doing some kind of video or graphic design or something like that, it wasn't making movies, right? But it was closer than if I took a job that was going to be like a distraction, right? Speaking of, there's literally a movie slate inside of this MacBook. Anyway, so I thought, okay, if I could get one of these MacBooks, I could start some design career or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. It was like a step out, right? It wasn't the thing I wanted to do ultimately, but it was a step in that direction. I had no money. I was doing actor stuff. I was in a play that was paying next to nothing, but it was paying. And again, same thing. That was closer to what I was trying to do. I'm in a play. I'm getting money acting. Not a lot of money, but I'm getting a little bit of money acting. This is great. Okay, if I can take any of that and use it to get a computer that I could do graphic design work with, then maybe I can keep this sort of cycle going. I can find acting gigs. I can do design work, whatever. And there's an old friend of mine in the show, and is an older gentleman. And he had seen me doing, he knew me for a long time. He'd seen me do tons of plays and stuff. And I don't know how this happened, but I asked. I said, here's what I'm trying to do. If I could get this computer, I think I could do it. And then I could pay you back. And we went to the store. We went to the little bitty Mac store in town. And they bought that MacBook in cash. And I kept the invoice so that I could see what it cost. And not right away. Nowhere near right away. Because again, wasn't making like hardly any money, but I was able to use that computer to get better at editing and book some like local design works, I think with the same theater and some other people. And I did make enough to pay him back. And the day that I paid him back was like the best feeling in the world. Because I kept my promise and I paid him back. Because they believed enough in me in the first place to even help make that happen. And because I was right. I needed to ask for the help because the help is going to help get me out of this situation where I am and get me closer to where I'm trying to go. And it was really, it was just it was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing feeling. So yeah, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to check into the chat now. Yeah. All right, yeah, folks got to go. A job that is a distraction is hard. Okay, yeah, so survival jobs. Do we want to talk about those? Do we take survival jobs? I do. Oh yeah, all of them. The worst survival job I ever had was actually at that same theater, and it may not be the one that people are thinking of. I wanted to be an actor, and I took a job at this theater, and I was there to. They all knew I could do improv stuff, and I was there to run their corporate training through improv program. And I thought it was the right thing. Like, it'll be salaried, I'll be doing corporate stuff, but through improv, and I believed in it. But I was hired in the condition that I was not allowed to be in the shows. Like, that was a condition of my hiring from them. Say, okay, we'll hire you, but you are not allowed to be in the shows. I don't know why I took that. I think I thought I was stronger than I was, or maybe I thought they didn't mean it. But I remember looking out the door to my office, every day during the run of some show. And I could open, it was on the third floor, and I could open up and I could look down and I could see performers performing, acting on stage, doing the thing that I was not allowed to do. And feeling my heart sink in such a way and realizing, boy, what a coward. I'm not judging him. I'm just saying that's how I felt in the moment. Boy, I felt like a coward. And I felt like a liar to myself. And I was more mad at myself not that I took the job because I get it, I needed money, but I was mad at myself that I wasn't honest enough with what I wanted. So I made it. After that, like, if I were to take survival jobs that are in related industries, you can make that work. Absolutely. I would try to find ways where it was either going to actually help me get closer to where I wanted to be. So like, I did take another job with that theater at some point, but it was helping to run their film studio. Right. And that was closer. And I met some amazing people there. And they were able I was able to help them with film stuff, and they were able to help us. Right. And so that was definitely worth it. But I think another strategy might just be like, take a job that's like so different than whatever your passion is, or a job that you can easily drop and leave. I don't know. Does anyone have anything like that in your life? Okay, here's interesting. What are your thoughts on community doing the thing together and roadblocks to community, social media, post-COVID norms, etc.? I love community. I love doing stuff together. When you can do stuff with a group, it's fantastic. Roadblocks to community. Okay. Social media as a roadblock to community. That's interesting. Are we talking like, is the question about like not physically being able to be together? I could use a little clarification on what we mean, I think. Also, my cat is hello, cat. Here we. While we're waiting, one of my professors said something that hit really hard for me. Passion is great, but paychecks are better. It made me realize that sometimes you have to do a lame job to get to a gig you love. Did that piss you off? I understand it, but it does kind of piss me off. Only because, like, it's so obvious, but it also sounds a little like it's trying to make your dreams small. Which I think is damaging to a younger person, especially if you're in college. Passion is great, but paychecks are better. And a paycheck for your passion is the best thing of all. Look. We're talking about what? We're talking about either choosing a career, right? And if the career is artistically the thing that you want to do, right, and you're able to pursue a path where your art, whatever your work is in the realm of art, is the job that's paying your bills, right? That's fantastic. Versus something that I think is equally valid. Your creative life is very fulfilling, and you are getting to pursue the things you want to pursue, and it is funded by a totally different financial life, right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with go to work, do your job, whatever that is. You don't have to be passionate about it. You can like it, whatever. And that being the thing that in your free time funds your art, but also allows you to, stay alive and take care of your family and that kind of stuff. 100%. Those things are like all valid. But I am frustrated with the thought of passion is great, but paychecks are better, without the addendum of you can have both. Actually, but your stuff is worth making. Like I said it last week, I'll say it again. Your stuff is worth making, even if it's not shared with a giant audience, right? Even if it's just for you, and if it's just for your own like mental well-being, right? Like your stuff is worth making. And if you have to do a day job that is completely unrelated to that, but allows you then in your free time to do the thing where you make your stuff, that's worth doing. That's passion and a paycheck. And someone might call that person a failed artist, and that person can go fuck themselves. Right? We talked about last week. Does the thing that you do have to make money for it to be worth doing? No, because you're going to die. And like your life's important, and what you make is important. Wow, dropping your cameras is important. Right? Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, Doug, he has a jobby job, and he uses that money to make music, and it's damn good music, Doug. Right? Like, not everyone's going to go sell out stadiums, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go make your damn music. Because it matters. It matters. I enjoyed the hell out of the tunes that you sent me. Like, that connection. We're talking about community again. I will come back to your thing, Jay, but talking about community, like, and social media specifically. And I'm thinking about Doug right now again. Like, I met Doug over Mastodon and YouTube and stuff like that. And now like we're sharing music and ideas, and he's going to come on the show. Like, that's social media and community, and that's all that stuff's worth doing. Sorry, I'm so sorry to be. I'm sure this person meant well. I'm sure this person was saying, please don't die. Please make sure you have enough money to sustain yourself so that you can do whatever you're passionate about. It's like saying, going for a walk in the park is great, but breathing oxygen is better. Do we live in a world where you don't need money to do stuff? Isn't that just a given? So fine, figure out how to make your money. And if you find yourself in a situation where how you make your money lines up with making the artistic work that you really care about, fantastic, right? Okay, I've apologized like 10 times. Sorry. It did piss you off. Okay, good. I'm sorry. I'm just catching up. Okay, I'm going to read the full comment though. Yeah, it did piss me off because there were more monetary goals behind what he was saying. Of course, I bet I know who this is. But I believe working hard and doing a job you love means you won't have to work a day in your life. Well, you will have to work, but you will love the work in theory. I mean, there are days where you don't want to tape on. And my understanding is I understand that you want to go into acting. And there are days where it can be very hard because people can be very judgmental, and so much of it is about how you look and all of this other stuff. and then you find a way to get your sea legs on that, and then you're okay with that, and then you move forward anyway. And all of those weird things that it does to your head, you find ways forward through that. So you will definitely work, but it is work that feels fulfilling. And there are times where I've had, IT jobs or whatever, and they were fulfilling because I was able to get some new skills and was able to learn new stuff. And there were parts of those jobs where I could help people and I could communicate with people, and I could use what I understand to help those people get a bigger audience through, I used to be a blogger, kids. They used to pay me money to write blogs. Oh boy. But it was cool because I was helping people find an audience and stuff. And that was fulfilling. And then that same IT gig. I think we can land on this now to kind of bring it home. If you this covers the stuff we talked about at age. This covers the stuff we talked about making money, about day jobs, all of that. Let's bring it home with this. When you understand what you want and what you would be happy with, what level of that you would be happy with, right? And you set your goal to go get it, right? And you mean it, and you realize I am going to die, and this is how much time I've got, whatever. You don't actually know that, but the focus of nothing's guaranteed. What do I want? I don't have forever to get it, right? That focus and that goal that feels a little too high for you to get to, helps you become very honest with people. And honesty and directness, to me, is a form of care and love for people, right? Hopefully they're honest back with you, but if they're not, what can you do? But you can be honest with them. And so I started getting into a habit after being burned on jobs. I started building this habit. Maybe I wasn't trying to be difficult, but I was being honest, saying, hey, I do this thing. In this case, I finally had an agent and all that other stuff. And I was like, sometimes I will get a booking. And when I get a booking, I just won't be here. And I need you to know that before you hire me. And I would say that, and they don't believe you. And they don't believe you. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm an actor. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then one day you get that booking, and you let them know. The first time you say, hey, remember when I said that I may just disappear? This is that day. And sometimes things work out with that employer and sometimes they don't. But in my IT job, my boss was amazingly cool. I think the first time I was out, he was a little startled, like, oh, okay, all right. Oh, that's real? I'm like, yes. And it happened again and again and again over the years because I was there for a while. And we all were able to accommodate that. Now, I was fortunate in the kind of company I was at that we were able to be flexible like that. And I tried to work with the team, and, I tried to hit my deadlines, and I tried to do all that I didn't always make it because, acting is crazy, but every time I had a gig, because I was honest and we had the understanding up front, I didn't feel bad when I went to do it. And the scary part is I was ready to lose that job if I needed to, which is my brand of weird and wacky and not a risk that I would advise to anybody at all. I also did not have the money if I did lose that job, but I knew what I wanted. And just to be clear, that could have all gone very badly for me, right? And there were times where maybe I didn't make enough money in a given week because it was contract-based or whatever. But I was okay living with that choice because I was looking in the long term. This is all getting me closer to what I wanted to do. So I think as we landed in tonight, you just got to be honest with yourself. You've just got to be honest with yourself. What do you want? What are you trying to do? And you've got to be willing to communicate that honestly with other people. Because you know what's cool is when I was starting to book those gigs and I was like, I can't come in the office because I'm doing a TV show. My boss started to think it was cool. It was like, oh, hey, neat. Oh, you really, this is something you really care about. And it was exciting. And I was pretty charged up to go back to work after I'd done it because I had I got to play hooky and had a field day the day before, right? People will get on board with you. People will get on board with you. If you know what you want and you're honest and you mean it and you trust yourself and you believe that you can do it and you go for it, people will get on board. If your creative thing is not something you want to make a career, but something that you want and it's a real hobby that you really care about, let people know you care about it. And the people who love you will get on board and they will make room for you to do that because they understand that it's important to you, right? And you're important to them. So yeah, I think that's where we'll wrap for tonight. I appreciate everybody who came in. Hello, Instagram again. Instagram, blah, 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 speech about the link down here on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to wrap for tonight. I will post an edited version of this live, because gosh knows I rambled tonight, up on my YouTube channel. I'll cut down, if there's anything worth cutting, I'll cut it down into some reels as well. And I'll maybe animate some stuff. I'm still working on the animations from the first batch. I'm going to kind of do them all in a thing. There is also an edited audio-only podcast on this on assembler.fm, which is my podcast network. Whatever. It's the website. I put things online where I talk to you. Yeah, so YouTube for the video, reels for some verticals, whatever. It'll all be out there. I really appreciate you being here. Sophia, I'll let you know when the edits are up so you can see them. Thanks for coming in late. Yeah, I appreciate you being here, and please learn what you want and be honest about telling people what you care about. And I care about you being here, so thanks. Go do the thing. And I'll see you next week with our musical guest, Doug. That'll be great fun. All right. Bye, everybody. I'm going to stop. Bye.